Back to my open and the ongoing fight to find out the truth behind the origins of coronavirus. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul joins me now. Senator, thanks so much for being with us this holiday weekend. Now, you have been very busy. Number one, you have offered legislation to stop gain-of-function research funding in China. Let me try to dumb that down. That means that the two theories about the coronavirus, one, it just came from an animal to a human, or one, it was ginned up at a lab to jump from animal to human after several petri dishes allowed it to go to human. Is that what gain of function is?
Yeah, gain of function is basically when you have an animal virus that normally just infects animals and you somehow mutate it or force it to evolve so it can infect humans. So it's making it more transmissible to humans and oftentimes making it more dangerous or deadly in humans. I'll give you an example. In 2004, there was a virus, a coronavirus called SARS. It killed a bunch of people. It had a 15% mortality. In the Wuhan Lab, they were studying this SARS virus, and they were putting new proteins on it to make it more infectious into humans. That's gain of function, that's dangerous, and that may be how this virus started. And so I'm very worried that this stuff still goes on and that the U.S. government's been funding it.
All right. Well, we know that the U.S. government has been sending money to the World Health Organization, which appears to be run by China's puppet and, is not totally open, and initially lied about the fact that the virus was transmissible between humans. So why is it that Joe Biden this week said he was going to stop the investigation into the origins of the Wuhan virus? Why would he do that?
Well, it's interesting. I think there's been a sea change in the last 2 or 3 weeks on this. A year ago, anybody who mentioned the possibility that this virus came out of the Wuhan lab were dismissed as crazy right-wing kooks, conspiracy theorists, et cetera. But now you have even MSNBC coming around. You have the left starting to wonder about it. And when I introduced my amendment to say we should quit funding this research in China, I ended up getting every Democrat on board. So I think they either know information or they suspect that the information is going to get stronger and stronger that this came from the lab. Last week's revelation that 3 workers in the Wuhan lab were sick with a COVID-like illness in November, well before the Chinese admit, this is a big deal. And so I think nobody's denying anymore the possibility. We don't know for certain, but we've got a lot of evidence pointing to this lab now.
So why can't the White House commit to a real investigation? Now Joe Biden has done an about face and he's saying, oh, we're going to investigate and we'll at the end of 90 days, we'll figure it out. What makes him think he can figure it out? China's not letting anyone there.
Well, we have some information. It was publicly reported back in March or May of last year that when you look at cell phone data, that there's a couple of week period in October when there's no cell phone data in a secure area in that lab. I didn't learn this through intelligence. I learned this from reading on the internet, but it was reported by NBC that this happened. I would guess that if you look at intelligence data, somebody probably does have information on that, and that we do have the ability to know if the lab was shut down. So if nobody's there, there are no cell phones there for a period of time, that's at least circumstantial evidence that the lab was shut down. There's some information we can find from that, and I think we do have that information, but I don't think that we have been pursuing it, nor do I think we've been drawing the conclusions we need to. See, if this came from the Wuhan lab, sure, we need to be worried, particularly about a communist government doing this, but we have 11 labs in our country where it's probably good, solid Americans trying to do real research, but it's dangerous. If this leaked from Wuhan, what if this could leak from one of the 11 labs here with something much more deadly than COVID? So I think we should be debating in our country, should we be paying for this research at all?
So the same kind of gain of function, which means that, trying to gin it up so it can go from an animal to a human. Why would we do that?
They say they're doing it so they can study these viruses that jump from animals to humans. The problem is they're creating something that's novel. They're creating something that doesn't exist in nature. Now, if something exists in nature, even though it might be dangerous, I would say that we should study it. But the good news from the development of the vaccine from last year is they can sequence a virus in a matter of days, and they can actually create an mRNA vaccine within a matter of weeks. So I don't think we need to create super viruses that don't exist yet, because we don't know that that's what nature's going to create. So we're creating something that nature didn't create. We're creating Frankenstein super viruses that, if they leak out of the lab accidentally or on purpose, could devastate the world. The SARS virus is 15 times more deadly. If that one gets out and we enhance its ability to be transmitted, that could kill 50, 100 million people. So the danger here really exists, and this shouldn't be a partisan issue. This should be debated.
I agree. Senator Rand Paul, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you.